But it's all fine and good to banter, gentlemen. But it's been a busy week, and there is news to talk about.
Before we get into news, here's
Yeah,
my latest news.
yeah.
Your boy might have lupus, which
No.
which is fucking hilarious because I don't even believe in it. I think it's a fake disease.
That's the kid.
Oh my god.
That's the kid from the Bad News Bears.
Yeah, hate that.
So, yeah, what are the symptoms? Yeah, that's my question too.
Lupus is a a chronic autoimmune disease that can affect many parts of the body. It occurs when the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own healthy tissue and organs, leading to inflammation and potential damage.
Did you know all this?
Yeah, what? Did you go to medical school when we weren't looking?
Yep.
Student of the month.
Yeah. You're like
I pulled a Jeremy.
you're like a web MD, you know.
What happens when three high school friends reunite during a Trump apocalypse? I'll tell you what happens. They do a podcast, little buddy.
No, look over here. I wear diapers.
You are watching Generation Exile.
It's all fine and good to banter, gentlemen, but it's been a busy week. At the top of the order is undeniably and unmistakably the news that our very own Mr. Newberger has had not one but a series of coups in the last week, not the least of which is hitting 100,000 plus subscribers. If he could just get the confetti going, he'd be stoked.
Doesn't work.
You should switch to Android.
I have to
100,000 last I checked, which was a little while ago, was like 107. So 107,000 subscribers now to your delightful channel. Woo, Dave got the balloons going. But I don't know if it's coincidence, but benchmark number 2 or landmark number 2, see how nothing happens when I do it?
Right.
That's Android.
It's like you're living in my office.
You got mentioned in the India Times, which is read by like half the people in the world.
Yes.
Probably. Obviously up in the billions, and got a really nice shout out.
Namaste.
yes.
They even mentioned our humble Generation Exile.
So you could
podcast,
say
which is,
that you got a shout out also in the India Times. You
Yeah.
can say that.
We all
Yeah.
did. We all got mentioned by name, and
We
we
did.
got mentioned.
and out of those billions of
that's-
readers, we picked up like 10 followers. So
So I think we should book flights right now to Chennai, the three of
Okay.
us, and soak in some of our newfound popularity on the subcontinent.
well, all the engagement
Definitely.
farms are in Bangalore. I'm led to understand. So
Oh, but they're all arranged, right?
no.
And triumph number 3 in the last week, which might be the most impressive, because I still look at Drudge Report rather frequently.
Oh, you do?
Jeremy got a direct link
Yeah.
to his Epstein video. No, you have, I think, 2 Epstein videos that have gone viral.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Maybe 3, but yes. It's funny. I used to watch or look at Drudge as part of the rotation of sites I checked when I was a young TV producer, just to kind of see what the right wing was thinking. Never imagining to be a listicle on that guy's website. That was kind of fun. Yeah.
A dangling list.
Listen, Mr. Newberger's AI Funnies has certainly had quite a week, and that one viral that seemed to draw all of everyone's attention was, I think it's at almost 2 million views at this point.
Wow.
So
that's incredible.
that's a first for Mr. Newberger. So I think
Hoorah.
great days are ahead of us in terms of people being interested in our show and my funnies, and it's all just exciting, I think.
Yes.
It is, and that's why it's at the top of the news hour.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Just quick
When-
question for Jeremy. Do you keep all your Epstein videos in an Epstein folder? And are they and is that where your Epstein files are in the Epstein folder?
I should. You jest, but I should make an Epstein playlist at this point. But no, I just kind of leave them, haphazardly around, which is probably a mistake. I guess it makes sense to have Epstein files, especially because no one could see them.
Right. They don't exist anyway.
It's the most protected thing. But for being on Pam Bondi's desk, nobody really has them in hand.
Which is, it's funny because our last news update, we kind of talked about Epstein at length. And here we are again. We're going to talk about Epstein again, but kind of a lot's happened. And this story, I think Dave and I, if you check the footage, we're kind of critical that this was really, going to have a big impact on Trump supporters or, what kind of political. I was very skeptical he'd be paying a steep political price for this. But the price appears to be, the bill has come due, so to speak.
I think I was right.
I don't know. I don't know that you're right yet. Not until those files come out and he gets impeached and kicked out.
There are signs to watch. Where you kind of pay attention to the the symbolic gestures of some of his sycophants to determine whether they are just speaking out but then backing away quickly, or speaking out and putting a flag in the ground. And there's a few markers of people that really surprised me. So I stand by my theory.
House Speaker Mike Johnson kind of was like, "Hey, we should release this and see this." And is he gonna?
No, he then got a major tongue lashing, I think, in the back rooms, and then decided to just send everyone on vacation.
Yeah, but
Did he have to call his son because he got that tongue lashing?
Right. Hey,
they watch out for each other.
Hey, Billy.
They have a
Billy,
very special relationship.
There's a boob in the banner on the webpage I'm on. I just wanted to let you know I'm okay.
Don't send the morality police. But today, I checked the news before, and then it got a little bit updated just before the show here. There was a Justice Department official that interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell, who we presume knows a lot of stuff. And he described the interview, it was a 5-hour interview, as a very productive meeting. So what happens at a very productive meeting? At least one or both parties get something done, accomplished, gain something. We'll see if Ghislaine gains something, because she's, I believe, in the midst of a 20-year sentence for aiding and abetting Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, which are crimes in their own right, and that's why she's in prison. What do you guys think is going to come out of Ghislaine Maxwell's mouth that could shape this whole situation?
There's probably answers.
Probably the possibly like all the
her
drool
cellmates.
and bile from the cyanide pill that they throw down her throat.
Mike, the events that kind of led up to this DOJ meeting are kind of important to address, or just to list out, because they speak volumes as to the purpose of this meeting, in my estimation. One, Thomas Massie, who's a congressman who is kind of like left the MAGA elite loyalists and has been championing the Release the Epstein Files movement amongst the non-Democrats in Congress. He has been trying bipartisan bills to effort the release of the Epstein files. And in a very bizarre moment, Mike Johnson decided, we're going on vacation. Instead of having that vote, he pretty much dismissed Congress, despite several MAGA forward bills that were sort of about to be voted on, very important to their movement. All of a sudden, he got the word to dismiss Congress, so they couldn't vote on the release of the files, and they're not back until September. This is a long vacation. So that was the first sign that they were trying to tamp down the inside MAGA rebellion. There are a lot of MAGA, by the way, who they got caught up in MAGA hysteria on the ideal that people would be punished for the pedophilia ring of deep state Epstein associates, and they want that justice. and they're not going to take the usual Trump machinations of, changing the topic, distracting with other things. They're staying focused. And the Democrats, for once, are doing the right thing, which is not reacting to every little thing he says, but staying on Epstein. So now we have this month of August where no one's voting on Epstein, but people are going to be talking about Epstein nonstop for that month, both on the right and the left. And Donald Trump is throwing chum and every trick in the book out on, onto the news cycle to distract from Epstein. Everything from Pam Bondi trying to, indict Obama, to Hillary Clinton's emails is back up there.
The most shocking one is they put out the press release that he was old and had a medical diagnosis that was not superhuman health.
Yes, you're talking about the leg thing, the ankle, the cankles.
Yes, the cankles and his bruised hand from too many aspirin and handshakes.
Right, he was shaking too many hands. So yeah, they even did something they never would do: admit that he's decrepitly, rotting, and also the fact that they want the Epstein files released, that Johnson dismissed the Congress, that Trump said they were going to get a grand jury to release the affidavits and testimony that's been hidden, which includes like victim information, which is like something that the right also doesn't want. Right. And that the judge came back and said that they can't have the grand jury information, so that Trump can be like, see, I tried to release it, but it wouldn't. That and every one of these distractions has created more interest, and the story is not going away, is the bottom line. So, and then lastly, the Wall Street Journal incident of this past week, where they published a play/poem that like we would have shared in our remember our brief poetry club that we had with like our friends in Dix Hills.
In point of fact, we did not have the club. We were asked to participate in the club.
I believe one of my poems went too far a little bit.
I remember reading the sex scene from The Godfather.
Well, Donald Trump had his poem or his little play, and it was encased in like the nude woman's body with his signature as her pubes. Yeah. And this was what he gave to Jeffrey Epstein on his 60th birthday party. And we know this because the Wall Street Journal, I'm not talking about like an Antifa magazine, Rupert Murdoch's baby, his financial, behemoth, is the one publishing these Epstein stories. And now Trump is suing Rupert Murdoch, which is the dumbest thing he's ever done, because now Fox News is publishing stories about how Tulsi Gabbard is releasing phony allegations about Obama. He's undermining his defense. It's crazy right now, I think. Just crazy.
Talk about the greatest hits, right, Jeremy? You mentioned Obama and the Hillary Clinton emails.
Yep.
So a House panel voted to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton over possible links to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy. And then, did you hear this? RFK Jr., there was a picture of RFK Jr. at a party with Epstein that came out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't see that.
And so now, like, there's another.
That's not surprising, though. He was on
the play into the deck.
He was on the manifest, I believe, when they released the airplane manifest for the Epstein. What do they call it? The they had like a cheeky
flight
name.
Log.
No, they had a cheeky name for Epstein's plane.
Oh, the Lolita Express.
Yeah, the Lolita Express.
Yeah,
RFK Jr. was on the manifest for a few flights.
It's also not surprising because he's a Kennedy, and they practically invented underage sex.
Okay. Well, be that as that may, RFK not surprising, but there are congressmen now speaking. Giving away the script, saying that they're cutting away Epstein in order to provide the president cover for fear that the Democrats will, do a Russia on him. But like just saying that you're covering up out loud is pretty amazing. Yeah. We're watching like a major cover up in like broad daylight happening in front of our eyes without the secrecy of backroom, covering. He's pretty much saying, enough, don't talk about Epstein. This is what he was saying last week.
We're done. We're done talking about this. Yeah.
Are you still talking
and
about this
he's
guy,
getting
Jeffrey
pissy about it.
Epstein?
Right. It's like, stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, and by the way, Hillary's emails. It's just like, oh, wait, whiplash.
Yeah.
It's not ending well for him. I mean, and let's say he didn't do anything nefarious, that he just had a friendship with the guy for 10 years, and he was aware that this guy was a bit of a chasing youngins, but didn't do anything himself. He's made it seem like he's covering up the sex crime of the century,
Right.
just by trying to thwart every effort to bring people to justice who did do those things.
Well,
So
it's worth noting that if he knew but didn't participate, that's still a crime in some way, or at least incredibly shady and unethical.
yeah, you've got to come to a certain thought process where the guy that you've been promoting for the last 8 years was hanging around with a serial child rapist for a decade, and that was his best friend.
Yeah.
That's got to play into your maybe future decision making. Gosh, maybe I'm not judging the best people when I'm putting my vote out there, or following swearing fealty to someone in politics. That's a bad character flaw, I think, at the least.
Well, you don't vote for Trump without forgiving and overlooking a lot. I don't think even his most ardent supporters, will deny wanting changes from him in his behavior, to just talk less and shut up and
What's the line, you
stop.
think? Where does the line get crossed? Let's say video came out of him having sex with a 12-year-old. Is that going to stop them from their loyalty?
That I think would do
I
it.
think that's a game changer.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think the smoke, if there's a smoking gun, and you got convincing proof that he was with an underage woman, I think that's I think he could get impeached for that.
I don't. Because
You're the guy that was saying they were all going to turn on him.
they are going to turn on him, but that won't do it. Because just
Okay.
last week, after they all turned on him, the Wall Street Journal, which is a right-wing newspaper, came out with the play I was just telling you about, with his signature in the pubes, and
In the bush.
and the MAGA folks were like, "Well, wait a minute, I want the Epstein files released, but that's fake." It's
Right.
wait, what? So you try and prove that video we were just talking about of him with the 14-year-old is not a Mr. Newberger AI funny. Good luck.
Right.
They're not going to
Well,
buy it.
Let's say for the sake of argument that they can prove that it's authentic, this hypothetical tape. There's no way around it. They can prove it. I do think that's the point at which people may not want to distance themselves from his politics and his policies, but they're going to have to after 10 years of talking about how pedophilia is a scourge. They're going to have to, just for image's sake, turn on him. I hope listen, everything else they've been able to swat away. He talked about wanting to bang his daughter or date his daughter. Oh, he's just being funny. He imitated a disabled reporter and oh, he's just being whatever. Everything he does gets swatted away and can be explained.
Don't forget,
away.
grab him by the pussy. That's a
Grab him by the pussy. There is a signed affidavit by a woman who alleged that he and Epstein raped her when she was 13. That it went to court. Didn't go to court. It was filed and then dismissed under dubious circumstances.
He's an educated rapist, according to this judge who did the last trial with the woman who accused him of raping her. The judge said, "Yeah, he is a rapist," is what the judge said. Don't sue me, but that's pretty bad too. There's a lot,
Right?
But I think I do and am the champion of the thought that MAGA is turning on him over Epstein. I think it's hard to imagine there's a smoking gun piece of evidence that will be the tip of the spear, but maybe the release of the files with all the things that the FBI are seeing. You know who I have hope on? You know that guy Dan Bongino?
Yeah.
Yeah, the number 2 at the FBI to Kash Patel.
So he's like one of these
a meathead.
meatheads.
He's a meathead.
Yes, he's a meathead. And there's a photo of him driving Obama around in a golf cart, because he was part of Obama's detail. He was in the Secret Service.
Right.
So he has a code of, Secret Service loyalty to the White House. And he has been a diehard Trump guy with like his podcasts. He gets sucked into the FBI. And then like 2 weeks ago, he has a meltdown with a fight with Pam Bondi about Epstein. But the details not released. He has to leave work and go to his home for 2 days and take a time out. And then he comes back and they shelve him in some back office basement, bureau room. We have not seen this guy since then. But if there's one guy that's going to be like the guy that turned, it's Dan Bongino. Because he does not want the next 40 years of his like podcast career and YouTube presence to be, the guy part of the Epstein cover-up, because that's where his whole, vibe, mission, truth is. So I have hope that that's the guy to turn. Dan Bongino is that's like the perfect name to go in the history books. That's where my money is. We've been waiting for something to like a chink in his armor is what we've been waiting for.
No need to get racial.
Well, we've got the dent in his night suit. How's that?
Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right on.
I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't see any let up on it. I know that the Dems are not going to let up. Thomas Massey is not. Oh, and one of those markers I was mentioning before to you, that like the signs that kind of show people that don't usually go against Trump going against Trump. Nancy Mace voted for a release of the files, a subpoena of the DOJ. That's when all of a sudden Mike Johnson doesn't have the votes on his side. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's in lockstep on everything in the Republican Party, and that's why, ICE agents are arresting people, off out of like the Home Depot parking lot. That's why women are losing their reproductive rights in states. It's why all of the bad crap, that the tariffs, everything is happening because Congress has pretty much given their power to Donald Trump, and it's a numbers game. And Nancy Mace represents one of those loyal numbers that is always on the side, and it's a narrow fucking margin. So if all of a sudden, on the issue of releasing the Epstein files, it becomes 1 or 2 votes beyond game over.
Potentially. It's a nice thought. I don't know.
I mean, Nancy Mace is a Fruit Loop. I understand that. I know that you can't put faith in Nancy Mace, or Dan Bongino for that matter, but maybe him more so than her. But I mean, broken clock tells the time right, twice a day.
Twice a day.
You might even find Marjorie Taylor Greene breaking her allegiance. We were talking about this.
She's continually vocal. I'm surprised that she hasn't let up.
Yeah.
Her bread is buttered by that kind of contingency of MAGA that doesn't tolerate pedos.
Yeah.
Not going to tolerate them. So even though she's an awful Nazi hag on this issue, she's simpatico.
By the way, why are we calling the Epstein files and not the pedophiles?
It's a great question.
Yeah, so we will see in subsequent days and weeks what's going to happen next, and we will definitely be here to talk about it. You know who won't be here to talk about it soon is Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
He will be talking apparently until, what is it, mid-late
May
26?
May 26.
May of 26. But CBS, which is our next story, decided to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. They're not continuing The Late Show with a different host. They're just canceling it altogether, even though it's the best-rated late-night show on television. What's going on?
Do you want to hear something funny? Dave, do you have an answer to that? I was about to say something, but if you have an answer to that.
I mean, I have an answer. We all have answers. I think we probably have the same answer, which is that
probably.
Paramount, which owns CBS, is trying to do a merger, and they need Trump's approval for it. And they settled the case because he sued them too for 60 Minutes. And apparently they had a really strong case, but they settled it anyway and paid $16 million. And then a few days later, they cut Stephen Colbert, who has really rose to the top because of his criticisms of Donald
Are you a
Trump.
fan, by the way? Do you like him?
I love Stephen Colbert.
I am a fan.
He
Oh, yeah.
is.
I think
I will
he's
point. I will
hilarious.
point to his correspondence dinner in 2006, where he stood next to George Bush, and just flat out told the fucking truth about what was going on in the most hilarious and brave way possible.
I stand by this man because he stands for things. Not only for things, he stands on things. Things like aircraft carriers and rubble and recently flooded city squares. And that sends a strong message that no matter what happens to America, she will always rebound with the most powerfully staged photo ops in the world.
I can't even. But no, I think he's hilarious, and
Yeah.
this is
You,
a
Mike?
tremendous blow.
Yeah, big fan, big fan. In fact, in the it's interesting to note that just within a couple days before all this news came out about canceling his show, he described the $16 million payment that CBS is making to Trump as a bribe.
Mm-hmm.
He put it in a way that was funny,
Right.
but in no uncertain terms called it, one big beautiful bribe, I think he said.
Right.
And, hey, he continues to defy and speak truth to power. A couple days later, that's,
He will land
that's
on
the
his-
end of the contract.
He'll land on his feet,
Oh.
right? Yeah. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
The-
this as
Go ahead.
go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say
As he himself.
I was just going to say the best news here is that we might actually get the Colbert Report back, which
Yeah.
was so much better.
yeah.
that was better.
A reboot.
That's, see,
Right.
my silence while you were, I think the word is glazing, Steve Colbert, is that I used to like his Comedy Central stuff. I don't really like the CBS show. It's like, I don't like those kinds of like talk shows anymore. They're like an old, throwback.
Yeah.
But the, what do you call it? The Colbert stuff he was doing was like, top notch, Daily Show, Colbert Report. That was like the best,
That shit was
2 hours.
amazing. I never watched the Late Show, but I do on the regular use YouTube to watch his monologues because his monologues are
same.
always good.
Yeah.
They're tight, they're funny.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too many dick and masturbation jokes, to be honest.
You can never get enough masturbation. Jokes.
He just seems to reach around for that so often.
Yeah.
I like I think I'm like a Kimmel guy in my my sort of preference of talk show guy, but I like Colbert as a person. I always find him to be like a real stand-up guy, and in interview he's so authentic and lovable. So I think, like, first of all, the bottom line is that Donald Trump should not be meddling with like the TV shows that people are watching in this country. That seems like pretty petty and small ball for the president of the United States. Today, actually, the South Park guys, I don't know if you saw this.
I saw that.
They did essentially an AI funny.
Yeah.
That was AI, by the way. Yeah. And
Yeah.
That was?
it was pretty dirty, and we'll see what happens. But they got a $50 million deal with Paramount to do South Park for the next, I think it was like 10 years or something, 5 years. And that first episode of their, offering is skewering Paramount and Donald Trump.
That's
So
right.
they're pretty much,
wow.
that's the line in the sand, and we were crossing it. So, those guys I find
Well, good for
are
them.
brilliant. I always like those guys. So yeah, we're in like a weird time. But what I was going to say when you first brought the topic up, and it's purely ego driven, is that I was just checking to see, well, how much ratings do like Kimmel and Fallon and Colbert get on a nightly basis? Like, are they getting like 30 million households? Is that what we're dealing with? Like, there are specials these guys do, or like, when it's a special show attached to like, the Oscars or something, where yes, it's like 20 to 30 million, but their nightly audience is somewhere in the like 1.5 to 1.7 million, which is less than my latest viral, which was 2 million. So, I'm like, not to toot my own horn, but like, that's really what nightly talk show stuff has gotten to. It used to be like Carson was, the country was watching. Now they've
Right.
divided amongst 5 Jimmys and one or two others. And really, it's like they're all competing for 1.5 to 2 million people on a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh wait, is that the total number of all of them? Or
No, that's
for
like
each?
per. Yeah,
Okay.
for each. Colbert, I think, was getting the higher end of the, the 1.9 versus the 1.5. Fallon is cratering, I think, and it was all surprising to me. But I think those guys even like cater their show to like the way you watch it, Dave, which is like Colbert's monologues are probably getting, millions of views on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And Fallon's little music numbers with Questlove, playing the toy music, that probably is where their audience is. No longer on like TV. All right. Sorry, Mike. You were saying the news.
No problem. What was I saying? Yes, the news, Colbert.
I know to go back to Colbert for a second because when CBS released their statement, they said it was purely a financial decision, and they gave like a $40 million loss, which may or may not be true. I don't necessarily buy it, but I do believe that it was a financial decision because if their merger didn't go through, they stood to not make a shit ton more money. So that was their financial decision. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see the problem with the market will sort it out when it comes to social issues, which is that, the market can essentially buy silence.